All right, it's live. Now let me make sure everything else is set. Let's see. I said I wasn't gonna have a drink. I might lie, man. I might go grab me a little sip of sip. Hold on, let me see. They know how I get down anyway. Let me see. All right, let me see. Breakthrough crew. Breakthrough crew. Welcome to our lunch and learn. And learn with and it's Mercedes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I don't know anything about foreign cars, so I couldn't even spell Mercedes. I was like, don't it got a C in it? I was just like,
People usually they butcher my name. So,
oh really? What's the wildest thing somebody called you?
so it'll be like Mersadie. It's like the
He's
wildest. Yes.
oh my god. Yeah. And as always, my A button is stuck.
Uh,
I know. Ranking. All right. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me grab a drink. Hold on. 1 second.
all right.
All right. Give everybody time to get in anyway. All right, I'm back. I'm back. All right. Okay. Just want to give people time to get in anyway. All right, we cool. Let's see. We got Yusuf. Yusuf, what's happening, Yusuf? What's happening, buddy? I know, man. You finally in the building, man. I said, if Yusuf don't get on this lunch and learn, we don't have problems, man. I'm gonna have to stop giving you shout outs, but you back. Mercedes little backstory. Yusuf is our London friend. He's in London.
Okay.
So we usually, like I said, we do this at night. And so it's always right before Yusuf goes to bed. Well, right after. It's kind of the in
Oh,
between. So I try to catch him every time before he go to bed, because it's like 7 hours ahead over there. And I'm on Eastern time. So yeah, anyway. Yusuf, all right, you at work, buddy. Good to hear. All right, Mercedes. All right, let's get right into it. Everybody already know how I get down, get my drink. Um, Mercedes, I'm going to assume that you're not going to be drinking this afternoon.
I got water. I'm
Okay,
good.
okay, we can go with some agua. You know. All right, so I want to get started. So, all right, I've been following for a while, as you know already on LinkedIn and everything. Been watching your journey unfold and watching you tackle project after project, and most importantly, just doing the work. It seems like you finally got your opportunity, got your shot, got your foot in the door into a tech role, and yeah, I mean, it's just as a fan of just watching your journey unfold. Something that I tell our students all the time. I tell the breakthrough crew all the time that those in the industry, there's nothing more than that we love than a good story, and then we love also.
Mhm.
You never know who's watching you. You never know who's paying attention to your journey. You know, you just never know. So it's great that you don't need to wait until somebody tells you or wait until um, you enter some school or camp or whatever to start doing projects. You need to start doing projects and start posting about the projects you're doing, whether you get stuck, whether you don't have anything major to report, whether you whatever, just start posting about what you're doing, and then you start to gradually build your network from there. So I say all that to say, look, I'm giving you your praise. Like I'm probably more of a fan than you probably even realize, but and you flowers are well deserved for you. So let's start off. So how did you how did you find out about wanting to even get a career in tech and getting into tech? Like what's your background?
So I did a lot of customer support.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much where I started doing phone calls for CVS,
Mm.
actually. I worked on the pharmacy, the prescription delivery
Oh,
side.
CVS. Okay, okay, got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I dealt with a lot of elderly customers who didn't really know how to use a computer.
Mm.
Um, some of them didn't know how to use a phone, a cell phone. So a lot of it was giving, instructions or giving education on how to use those types of technology.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I kind of want to get into this a little deeper. So I actually talked to my manager, and they actually helped me set up a meeting with someone else who was in like our tech side
Mm-hmm.
of the company, and they pretty much like gave me a layout, like, hey, this is how we use the systems, this is how it's built. We use all these different type of cloud technologies, and these are the databases. And I mean, I just got curious, and I started doing my own thing.
So it was a manager that was telling you about what they're doing on the system side. You were just curious enough to ask, and they were just willing to just share the information. So from that conversation, did you say, "Hey, well, how can I get into it?" Or what do I need to do next? What
Yeah,
I guess
so
what directed your next steps to actually start taking action?
Yeah, so I was really kind of interested on the data side of things.
Mm.
So I wanted to know more about databases. And so I asked them, like, hey, where should I start if I want to learn more about databases? And he was like, well, you need to learn SQL.
Ah,
Um,
ah,
so I just started Googling SQL. I was like, what is this? How does that work? Like, why do
roll.
I need to learn this?
Right, right. Tables. Yeah.
Yes. And then I actually bought it was like one of those Udemy
Oh,
SQL
course.
boot camp. Yeah.
Mhm.
I bought
Sounds like
one of
you
those
didn't like it.
courses.
That face rounding up like, yeah, I
Yeah.
bought it. It didn't. It wasn't it. But go ahead.
Yeah, it was it was pretty intense for somebody, who's never I don't really know what coding is,
Right.
so
He's like, well, maybe I need to
but
try. So I need. I need to wait. It's too big of a first step. But go ahead.
yeah, but I mean, I was determined to learn it. So I actually ended up I went on Amazon and I bought I think it was like a sequel for beginners book or
Hmm.
something like that.
Hmm.
Finished it in I think I finished it in 2 weeks. I actually used
The whole book.
my own. Yes, I finished
Wow.
the whole book. It was pretty thick. It was
Oh,
pretty thick.
it's a tech manual.
Yeah.
I assume it's going to be pretty thick. Wow, you finished it in 2 weeks. Wow, that's some pretty.
I practice every day after work. I
I
was I
love
was
that.
in there religiously.
How many hours would you say you put in after work to just put into practice?
Man, I would say it got pretty dark at night. I was
What part of the country you in, so that people know get a little bit more context?
so I'm in Nashville,
Oh, okay,
Tennessee.
in the Tennessee. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right. Go.
So so I was studying maybe 3 hours a day after work, but then I was still studying on weekends too. So probably on weekends I was probably spending
Who's
maybe
telling you to
four
put in those
hours.
hours and work? Like, who is telling you? Like, where did you? where are you getting this go forward for? Like this are the specific times, this is the amount of time it's going to take. Like who told you to do? Mm,
I was ready. I was like,
mm,
I'm gonna get out of this, $14 hour job. I want some money,
mm. Oh, to be nice. I saw that really does something. Like when you're going the self-taught route, you have to develop the skill to self-initiate, and
Yeah.
so that what you're talking about is what you display is what I just want most people just to embrace. Like it's nobody, like if you're asking me how many hours should you study, that's you're not really, you don't really want it. You would like to have it. Because if I say
Yeah.
like you got to study, I would say always, at least an hour or 30 minutes a day, then you might think that's too much. But if you're a person that like you, it's like you're like, nah, I need to study till I get to the end of this lesson plan tonight, or
That's
midweek project. So all right, but go ahead, finish your story.
right.
That was a great point you had in your story today. A great lesson.
But I was probably like, I think I was kind of like, okay, if the book is 30 chapters long, I need
Mm,
to be doing 2 chapters a day, like I was determined to really finish this book. But
no, that's good.
and I was still posting on LinkedIn.
Mm,
Um, I was telling people what I was learning. I would kind of take screenshots of, what my computer screen looked like or what the outcome was.
mm,
Talk a little bit about each chapter,
mm,
and then that's how my network grew because people saw like, hey, she's studying SQL, and so other people who were also like SQL like database admins, like data engineers, data analysts, like they would start to follow me. And I
mm.
was like, they were asking me questions and I'm like, hey, I just started, I don't know what that is. Or they were
Talk to me, nice. Say, you're giving life right now. Like I already know this is so many women. First off, many women who hit my DMs ask me how to get in tech or whatever. I'm definitely using this video as reference because you're saying everything that's like I literally been saying in these our tech at nights, and it's so true. Is how it's coming, and it's crazy because I actually been following you, and I've just checked since July of last year. Well, I inboxed you for the first time since July. Like, I probably followed you a little bit, but before that, and I found out he's using a group because I was like, I should do it because I even tried to do a Q&A with you then because I was just so impressed with the work ethic that you were just displaying with your projects. And
Mhm.
I just ended up following you because I don't know how, but I just like you just kept popping up on my timeline because you were doing your projects. And I was like, who is this woman? Like, what is she doing? Like, okay, she's in the Splunk and you were doing some Linux stuff at the time as well. And I was like, who is this? And then I would just became intrigued. And then I just became so every week I just always look forward to your something that you're working on, post coming on my time. So what you're saying
Mhm.
how you just started collecting professionals from the field as you're posting your stuff is so that's monumental. So and
Yeah.
building a network. But go ahead.
But no, I mean, I tell people all the time, people ask me, like, how do you build your network or how do you get these jobs or these roles? And I'm like, just posting, talk to people, show them what you can do. And they're like, no, I'm too scared to do that. And I'm like, I was too, I'm scared. That's scary. I mean, learning in public is very scary.
Very.
But I mean, it's okay. Some of us are still, beginners.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not all experts. So
Yeah.
I say, hey, just post it, and if you want to turn the comments off, you can turn the comments off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But somebody's going to reach out to you about it and ask you like, how much do you know? We're paying $100,000 for whatever skill you're learning, and they'll just reach out to you about it. So I just tell people
What
keep
was your
studying.
what would you say? And you're very early in your career. I definitely want to say that. But if if somebody like me who's just been a fan of your page and following you, you would think you're like a SME with like this like 14 years of experience because of how much just work you've put into learning Linux, into learning Splunk tools, into getting your certifications, into doing the project. Like it's just so freaking impressive, man, to really see your work continue to unfold. So what was a point for you? What was like the breakthrough point where it took your career from lab rat, just churning out projects, trying to build your resume, etc., to where, oh wow, I'm actually going to get my first shot at an opportunity, whether it be an interview or the offer itself or a contract, what have you. What was that breakthrough moment for you?
Mm, I mean, like what role kind of like put me on the.
Yeah, it can be a role, it can be just a moment where it was like, oh man, this is like I always talk about. My moment for me was when I first got my cloud practitioner cert, and how that opportunity, how that also helped led to my interview first. Well, not my first, but my led to an interview that led to me my first cloud engineering role. And so that was like a breakthrough moment for me after years and days of studying and grinding and putting it in. Like that was a moment that kind of confirmed, okay, you've arrived. The work that you've done has generated some type of fruits of your labor. What was your fruit of labor moment?
Ooh, it's a lot of moments where I just kind of. Um. Ooh. Okay. I will say my last role. So I was a DevOps engineer.
Oh wow.
Um.
Wow. That's a big.
So
Hold on. You went from CVS customer service rep to DevOps engineer? God.
so there were some support roles in between, and they were just kind of, I did them for a few months, and then I was like, nah, this is boring.
Oh,
So
we're gonna circle back to those. I love that because we just had this conversation last week about how you need to see. There's practitioners, engineers in the industry,
mhm,
and there's hustlers in the industry. All right, you need to kind of find your when you come from the self-taught route. You come from my background where we earned everything we got. You look at opportunities and you know how to you see it bigger than the paycheck at the moment because you see where it's going to
yeah,
lead you. But go ahead. I'm gonna let
yeah. Well, you get bored real easily. So, so okay, so the role that I worked, my previous role as a DevOps engineer, I
you.
actually got rejected from that role
Really,
the year before.
really.
So
Got
what I always
rejected
say,
in 2 years?
whatever, yes. So whatever I always say, whatever comes back around, it's meant for you,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm.
apparently, the person who got the role before me, was just not, they didn't succeed. So
Yeah.
when the role came back to me, the recruiter was like, "Oh, I see your applications in here from 11 months ago."
Hmm.
And so I was like, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, "I think I remember this role." So they pushed me on through. I got through like the third round, I believe, and whole new management team, completely different people from the year before.
Wow.
So they had never seen my name before ever. Um, so it was, I think when I got to that role, I was like, okay, I'm underestimating myself
Mm.
because nobody on that team was 100% familiar with cloud. Um, we had just started using Terraform, which
Mm.
is something that's still kind of fairly new, but I had already started using it like maybe 6 months before, I had actually got into that role. And I was like, hey, I know a little bit. So they just kind of put me on the team, for
Were you using I? Were
doing
you
Terraform.
using Terraform in a prior role, or were you just doing it off just a project?
So I was just doing it as a project. Yeah, I was
Talk to
I was
me,
using I
nice.
was using the Terraform.
Talk
Look, I
to
was using the
me,
Terraform
nice.
documentation.
Oh, you better go, girl. Hey, you better go ahead. Wow, so you're like
Yeah,
me on the team now for Terraform because
yes.
you're the only one that really knows how to operate it.
Yes. So I was like, yeah, I was like, I've heard of Terraform before, So they were like, okay, we're gonna put you on this side, doing some IAC,
Yeah,
infrastructure as code type of stuff.
yes.
So I was like, hey, give me a month or two, I'm gonna have to refresh.
Yeah.
refresh on this. So I was like, I haven't used it in an enterprise type of system yet. So, just let me know how y'all want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And, it took me a couple months and I looked over it and I mean, we got it running. It's still a couple of things, you got to figure out,
Right.
off the,
Right.
on the
Yeah.
fly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, there's all types of. You got to make sure you got to see where you got to store the state file. Like, based on the cloud platform, you got to make sure that your service accounts, if you're using Google or your IAM roles, is going to have permission to deploy certain things throughout the stack, and then you have to configure the pipeline that it's going to go through. So yeah, it's a lot to it. So it's just amazing that from a project, from simply just in the gym working on your projects, led you to a career change opportunity, because DevOps is not no small feat. It's not a small role at all. You have to know a lot of hands-on technical skills, a lot as
Mhm.
well as a lot of hands-on cloud technical skills. Like it's not nothing to just throw your nose up at. Like it's a serious role.
Yes.
Wow, from a support role to DevOps, that's crazy. And then
Hmm.
I love with the fact that you said that you showed you by crushing that interview, you showed yourself that you have been underestimating yourself the entire time.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. Like what was that like? Where did that what areas did you kind of like doubt yourself? And then what areas did that just confirm like, yeah, I got this.
I think for the most part, I didn't think I could code very well or script very well, but I absolutely knew more than than I thought I knew. Because one of the things with Terraform was, learning how to write, I believe it's HCL. Is that what Terraform's using? So um, one of
Oh,
the things I had to do over a weekend, they were like, hey, can you just make like a basic Terraform file that we can, just put in? I'm like, I got one saved. I said, let me just email it to myself and
right.
I'm gonna
Oh,
just go ahead and
I
send it
love
to you. You
that.
already got it.
I love that. I love that. Oh my
And
god.
it was just, hey, they implemented it. They were like, oh, this works. And I mean, we implemented it, just spun up a virtual machine. And I mean, and that was it. So I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm just doubting myself. So
Yeah. So and wow, okay. That's so beautiful. Wow. Let me ask you this. So it's crazy because you said I just sent myself my own script. Like they don't like a lot of the newbies, trying to break into, tech, especially the cloud side. They don't know, like we don't know everything,
Mhm.
we're Googling and using other resources all the time. And so it's funny because when you said that, I literally have sent myself scripts or templates, you know, and use it for work,
Mhm.
and what do you think is like a misnomer? Well, I want to talk about this too. I'm going to kind of go into your Splunk world. What made you want to go into Splunk? Like learning about, because Splunk is like for those who don't know, it's a monitoring tool. A lot of companies use it to monitor cloud resources, as far as like logging. So if anything goes down, anything goes wrong, and kind of troubleshooting that needs to be had, Splunk helps you be able to identify where it is, what it is, and um, you can get to it quickly, and you can set up alarms through it and all type of things. So, what made you want to get into?
Yes.
What am I accurate? I'm
Mhm.
kind of guessing. No, I'm playing. I'm playing. You're the Splunk expert, though. You certified. So, yeah. Am I even close to what Splunk is? That what? Okay. What made you
It,
want?
it does a lot.
Yeah, yeah. It's a beast. It's a beast. But yeah.
Um, let's see. So our team was using an older tool that was called PRTG.
Never heard of that.
It's a classic like monitoring tool. We used it for our databases, but it was constantly breaking.
Mm,
So we wanted to look at other options. I had heard about Splunk before,
Hmm.
but I didn't really know how to kind of, use the SPL, their little syntax, and create all these really cool dashboards.
Yeah.
Um, but I did see that our security team used it, our SOC team used it.
Mm.
So I was like, hey, we're already using Splunk in the SOC. Is that something that we could use on our team?
Hmm.
And so, they wrote up like the what's it called, like a point of concept uh type of thing. They wanted to see how it worked.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Proof of concept.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a proof of concept, that's right.
Mhm.
So they did that, just showing, how it works and things like that. So I was like, hey, if we're implementing this for real, let me see how I can, kind of get my hands on it.
Yeah.
So
Here she go with
so
it's me again. Go ahead.
yep, I already knew what to do. So, Splunk has like their trial version. You can download it on your computer and, build a little. They got some lessons that you can take. And so from there, I was like, hey, I know how to write up a couple of, write a couple of scripts for you
Ah,
guys if you want me to show
hustler.
you your dashboard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we used it on our monitoring. It was pretty cool, what you can do. But on my current team, like we use it 24/7.
Mm.
That's what we're using it for. So using my projects is how I actually got into my current role because they saw my GitHub that had the screenshots of all of my dashboards that I built. So they were like, "That is really cool. Can you can help us kind of build some of our dashboards too for our team because we need to see more into all of our apps." I was like, "I got you." So I just used what I had, and just started going off on it. I had like 3 weeks to build it, and I probably finished it in like a week. And I was like, "Here you go. Does that work?"
They just
Just kind of
how
tweak
did
it.
they find your repo?
So they found it was on my resume, but it's also on my LinkedIn. It's like on that first little part of my LinkedIn. And they
I,
saw
I
the
got
dashboard.
I gotta pause you right there because and it's just great hearing it from others who are in the field
Yeah.
and killing it. Is that look, we talk about put your projects on your resume, put and talk
Mhm.
about your projects on platforms like LinkedIn, put your and just have links to it to your repo or to the project where they can actually go view it themselves, like hiring managers or project managers or recruiters or whomever can just kind of dig into the complexity of how you built this project, like to see if you really put thought into it, you really know what you're doing, you're solving the problem, and just all type of business reasons that could be beneficial to both groups, that can lead to
Mhm.
any kind of opportunity. So it's crazy that like you really built your career around doing projects, like it's
Yes.
that nobody told you to go out and do, like you've just like it's man it's crazy because it speaks to how much grit you have and your intelligence and just being able to see what most people don't see. You know,
Right.
um, that's awesome. All right, I told you I was gonna try to get you out by 150. So closing on the clock. So I know we got so much more. We got to do this again. Uh,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask you one question. I'm gonna go to one question that's in the chat. What would you say is the biggest issue newbies have when it comes to breaking through into their first cloud tech role? What do you like? Yeah, that's the question.
Ooh. I would say the biggest thing, and it's definitely with the imposter syndrome, is thinking you have to be an expert in everything. I would say just learn very surface level. You don't have to know, exactly what happens if something breaks. Like you said, we Google everything.
Hmm.
Um, my team, we literally used somebody else's GitHub like repository to build a C sharp app. And a lot of it was just Google and just plug and update and just, because everything's built off of whatever your team's security
Mhm.
is. So you have to go off of those protocols. So I mean, you're not going to be a pro when you get in. Just keep learning. It's a never ending journey.
No, I love that. I love that. It's I love that. Yeah, because it's so true. Like you all do not know how technology immature most companies still are, especially when it comes to cloud stacks like this. Like we're all for the most part figuring this out along the way. Especially if you're not like working for a Fang type company. So yeah, like you, I, you most people, and that's why I always end these lives with you had what it took the entire time because you're going to get in these roles similar to what you did and like find out that wow, technically, I know more about cloud in particular or a specific tech skill than your director or your manager knows. And the part that's going to blow your mind. You'll be like, I've been playing myself this whole time. Like,
Hmm.
you know,
Yep.
and so all right. So last question. This came from Chris. Chris wants to know, do you have your I think this is a red hat certification. Do you have your
Yep.
well,
So
I want
I
you to
don't
answer
have it
that.
yet.
Well, all right, but I want you to answer that, and then what is your? I want to know your true feedback on
Mhm.
certifications. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, wait. So you want me to answer the red hat
Yeah,
one first, or the
answer the first question, please. Yeah.
so no, I don't have my certification yet, but it is in the process, and I do have. I think it's on my LinkedIn that has all of my Red Hat certs. I mean, not certs, the screenshots from my labs that I'm working on as I'm studying for the certification. So
Nice.
it's on the way.
Right. 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 All right. And then the next question about your outlook on certifications themselves.
I would say, I don't know, as a former, well, maybe not former, because I still believe that certs I think they're worth it,
Hmm.
but you have to actually consistently keep working on those skills. Like, don't just stop at the cert. Like if you want to do, like for me, for example, the red hat one, I'm going after the red hat exam, but I have my own lab.
Mm.
I do my own type of projects on there, like we're trying to implement Ansible as well for automation.
I see you with
Um,
the little monitor glow light in the back. I see you. Look, she a
yeah,
techie. She is a techie now. Oh my god, she is really a damn person. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
well, I got all the little gadgets, but
Let me find out you on Twitter in the Twitter community too, and in these spaces. But go ahead.
but I mean, yeah, like certs are good, but just don't depend on the cert to get you into the door,
Mm.
and don't stop at one. I mean, one is good, and then you get the job, but learning, it's a continuing process. So, if you want to keep getting like 100 of them, you can, but make sure that you're actually reinforcing that knowledge.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. All right, Mercedes. Gotta get you out there, but we gotta have you back at some point next year in 2024. I would love to have you back in 2024, but during it, we got to do a
Yeah.
nighttime section though, because we got to have you drinking on something. All right, but anyway, so tell folks where they can reach you and any last remarks before I let you go.
Yeah,
Where they
so
can reach
I'm
you and
on.
how they
Yeah.
can reach you because that's a thing too. I don't want people just you know come at you the wrong way. But go ahead.
So, I mean, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I think on your actual LinkedIn post, you did put my profile on there. So
Yep.
I'm always on there every day. I think you can message me as long as you like connect with me. So just connect with me.
Uh,
Send a nice little message.
a nice little message. All right. All right. So put some thought into it. All right, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, Mercedes. Again, you're a champion. You are a tech hero of the month. Keep
Thank
doing what you're
you.
doing. I'm gonna always support it. Again, I'm more of a fan than you probably even know. I just love seeing people get out there and build it and grind it without being told to do so. And then seeing the payoff of you just making waves in this industry. One opportunity at a time. More life lessons than one could communicate in this one podcast segment. So I don't even know if it's a podcast. It's more like this is just a stream. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
but anyway, we're gonna have you back next year. I appreciate you again. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll always be here for you. I'm always supporting you in your journey. I'm always liking your posts. I don't comment a lot because I don't know a lot of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I just like seeing you do it, So yeah, that's all I got for you.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so
No,
much for having me.
no problem. I'm gonna let you go. All right.
All right.
All right, you have a great one. Bye. All right, y'all. That was Mercedes. Mercedes is a monster in this industry. I hope you all got a lot from it. Um, as I told you all, the breakthrough crew that I'm gonna try to do these streams. Um, do these lunch and learns once a month because some of you all say, "Hey, can you do something during the day? At night, I got the gym, I got that kids, I'm working late." Da, da, da. So I'm trying to acquiesce to you all. You know what I'm saying? I need to get to drink this much. I'm gonna have my cigar after my 2 o'clock. But yeah. If you have any questions, Mercedes is one of those persons who I've again seen just grind it up. From again, I think she started in 2020. I mean 2022, maybe 2021, but I saw her grind up from the floor. So and it's just that was somebody I've been wanting to connect with for a Q&A for a while now. So finally she had some time and we was able to get her to share her experience with you all. So hopefully you all got something out of it, and stay encouraged by these things, these Q&As, and stay informed also by these Q&As and support it most importantly during these Q&As. So if you have any questions, you already know what to do. Hit the comments, share this with your friends who trying to also get into cloud tech, and yeah, as always, man. Boot camp sign up. We only got one chair left, so if you want to sign up, you're gonna have to do it before the 26th of this month. But aside from that, B Cloud Engineers. If you have any questions, info@bcloudengineers.com to shoot extra additional questions about your career needs. So that's all I got for y'all, man. Remember, keep grinding, keep plugging away, stay consistent with it. Use your network. We are your net worth, your network. You know what I'm saying? And always remember, you had what it took the entire time. All right, y'all. Let me go say this. Be great.